You're tuned into the It's Real podcast with your hosts, Kayla Calendar and Andrew Yagi. Each week, we'll talk about what happens behind the scenes working full-time in real estate and share with you real-life stories, our successes and failures as we work to help consumers and industry professionals reach their real estate and real-life goals. Here we go.
We're at episode 107 of the It's Real podcast. How's it going, Andy?
Kayla, I'm doing great. How are you?
Fabulous. It's windy per usual. My rocking chairs are in the grass. Everything's blown over. Just a typical North Dakota day.
It's been kind of a weird week, just windy and, not great weather. Yesterday was absolutely gorgeous, but a little bit challenging today.
Yeah, well, at least the weather's warming up. It's nice to go outside and not have to put on a parka. So, we see it coming. Although I have heard two things. I don't know if you've heard this, that it's going to be a smoggy summer. And then the ticks are going to be outrageous, which I've already experienced at the lake. So I'm not trying to be, Debbie Downer, but those are two things I heard. And I'm like, oh, we'll see.
I hope neither are the case, although I did hear the tick thing too. I heard a tick conspiracy theory too, that the government is dropping tick bombs with viruses to infect people.
Don't get me started on conspiracy theories because we could have a total podcast on this. But my buddy, who is a big farmer, told me he has found tick boxes. Again, teach their own. Maybe it's just, who knows. But tick-spiracy.
I don't like ticks. It brings me back to my weekend that I went from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts, and we were out camping. And the weather wasn't great. And I think I had just in one overnight had 40 some ticks.
Oh my God.
On me at different times. And it wasn't a pleasant experience. So that's when I think of ticks, that's what I think of.
I don't know if you got my Snapchat this weekend. Did I send this to you with the tick?
I think you did. Mm-hmm.
I was I think I had a peanut butter protein ball. And I had I thought it was oatmeal. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm so messy. And I was like, oof. And I flicked it and it was a tick. And I yelled at my husband because he can see me. And I'm like, you didn't see this tick burrowing in my chin? And then there was one on my arm and then the dogs, of course, so.
Where did you go? Were you walking through tall grass somewhere?
No, Andrew, we were not. We walked
just
the
in the
dogs.
grass?
Yeah, but it was through the gravel. It wasn't tall grass at all. We just walked along this little spot around our lake and came inside and tick central. So
yikes.
To each their own, but I don't like them either. So
no kidding.
Peace out. So anyway, ticks, smog, wind.
But you got to the lake this weekend and
we got to the lake, got the pontoon fixed. We got chairs for the dock. Woo, big upgrade for us.
The dogs. For the dog or the dock or the dock that are for the dogs?
They're for the dock, but the dogs sat in them. But yeah, so lots of stuff going on at the lake. Everyone's starting to get back down there. 'Tis the season. Because have you guys gotten down in the lake much?
Only for work. My parents at Otter Tail, they have a paver patio out there that needs a little bit of maintenance. So I've had a few of my helpers out there, and we've been just kind of working on some of those maintenance items. So no, not for enjoyment, but maybe a little bit this weekend. I don't know. Even though we're 25 miles away, it's almost like we're too close, Kayla, because we have so many things, going on, whether it's with real estate or, kids' activities. We have to be super intentional about making time to get to the lake. And I guess the short answer is we're just not being intentional enough about doing it.
Tough though. And when you've got kids and dogs, I remember when we used to have to pack up the dogs and all their stuff, it was so much. Now it's a lot easier if you have a place, but either way, it's still, you're leaving town. It's somewhat of a chore sometimes, but once you're there, it's usually worth it. So make more time, Andy.
Yeah. Oh, but the weekends are so few. Like just looking through the summer, it's like, wow, we have so many commitments. Even last weekend, Kayla, we went to Oklahoma for the weekend. We went kind of a long weekend, of Thursday to Sunday. Katie's got some family down there, and so we haven't seen them for like a decade. So that was really fun, and actually fun for me too, from an aviation standpoint. There's a friend of mine who I borrowed. He's got a King Air, so borrowed that from him, and so we get to fly, in something that was a little bit larger and more
I
comfortable
love that.
to kind of fit family. And you would have really loved this. These cousins of my wife, they have one of them has like 5 dogs in their house. And this was with one of the dogs, and they just absolutely love these dogs. We couldn't find them. One time when we were over there, and it's like, well, where are the girls? Oh, they're inside helping wash the dogs. So,
okay. So this means you guys are getting a dog.
no, I don't think so. But I'm thinking that I'm going to send them to your house, and they can help you
send
wash
them
the
over,
dogs, and that'll help out. But no, we had a really really good time. We everybody got first the girls got all dressed up as well.
Oh my gosh,
we had a fun time. It was nice to get away, and so when we talk about not getting to the lake, it's for reasons like that.
Amen. That's amazing. That's great. Those dresses are adorable, by the way. Tell Katie she did great.
Thank you. I will pass it along. we already have a few requests from I think some cousins that may have some younger children upcoming and wanting those dresses one day. So we can't have that. The dogs, is what I'm saying.
I love it. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah. What else is going on in your life?
Wild week here. Lots of closings, lots of new contracts. The moment it slows down, it just seems like it speeds up the next day. So we hired on my team. So we have 2 loan partners. So I'm training in the one. Her name is Ryan, and she's crushing it.
How does she spell Ryan?
Ryann.
Okay.
Ryan Lamb is her name. Fun name. I feel like it's like a movie star name. So she's crushing.
I had a Ryan at one point. It was Riane. So
I've seen that too.
To kind of see the difference.
Yes, I know.
Before that, I don't think I'd ever seen a female Ryan before.
I know. I kind of love it. So she's helping the team. She's already jumping in, so that's been helpful. But you got to train people, and that takes time. And I know a lot of people they don't hire because they're afraid to take the time to train. They don't have the time to train, but the arrow has to come back before it goes forward. And then you're so happy. Even people that are hiring VAs, virtual assistants, it's like, take the time, get them on board, and then you will never look back. So we've got, a new employee. She's been great. Things are moving and shaking. We had the Parade of Homes this last weekend in Fargo-Moorhead. It was great. Amazing attendance. I attended both weekends at some point. The homes that are shown are incredible. So incredible. We went through some heritage homes. They've got, quite a few like model homes. It's insane. They're just so beautiful. But it's just that this is that time of year when people really start talking again. So activities up, lots of new construction, as you already know, but that was really successful. We did a realtor open for novel homes. That was really well attended. So it's just great. It's like after COVID, things kind of like got weird. And then now I think we're far enough past it that people are out. But, to get realtors or people out, you have to kind of like have a reason. It's not just homes, but like giveaways. And, we had rescue dogs at one place. So it was just really great to see all the activity.
They knew how to bait you, put the rescue dogs.
Oh my gosh. Well, one of them got adopted by my client. And I don't know if you know this, Andy, but if a client works with me for their home loan and they rescue a dog or cat or any animal, that I will help pay for the adoption fee. So it's just one way that I can give back. And we've got one that's already adopted a pit bull. So exciting times. So
very cool.
What about you? What's rocking and rolling in your world of real estate?
Yeah, what's rocking and rolling? Well, we've got 5 properties that we're going to list this week. So we've got quite a bit, quite a number of irons in the fire. Just a lot of people, again, that motivation is really starting to show a little bit. And the markets ebbed and flowed a little bit. I think the weather's been a little challenging, some economic stuff, but a lot of people that are really motivated out there, and so we're doing that. our team, again, we grew quite a bit this year. We've got 6 of us that are licensed as agents now. And so I don't know if you've seen, I've been kind of trying to feature the agents on the team, kind of with our Meet the Team segment. So we, have that out on social media and kind of sharing that with our clients and the like. Speaking of video, I've got a funny story for you. So some days after school, my girls come through, especially on Tuesdays when we have piano lessons, and I've got a keyboard at my office, and we come and usually do a last-minute cram session before piano lessons, because let's be honest, when you're running all over the place, you don't always have enough time to practice. So usually Ella, my wife, will take Ella off to her lesson, and Violet will sit with me. And so last week, Violet was sitting with Lynette, my assistant. And I walk in there and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And Lynette says, oh, we're watching videos of you. We're watching some of your property highlight videos. I said, oh, okay. And Violet turns towards me. Keep in mind, she's 6 years old, and just stone sober face. She said, yeah, Dad, they're terrible.
Oh my gosh. What did you say back?
I said, oh, what? I said, ouch. I said, hey, I appreciate good criticism and feedback, but wow, Violet. And then she told me she was just kind of joking. I think she was half serious. You never know. The middle one's usually the wild card. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Hey, I mean, authentic, real feedback from a 6-year-old. I mean, you want real raw advice, just ask a child. So
yeah.
Well, Andy, sure. I think you do a great job in your videos.
Well, thanks. I think you do too, Kayla.
Thanks. Thanks much.
We talk like on my team, I was just, coaching, because of course I can't even say some of my new agents, like most everyone is new, with the exception of Lynette. And it's always challenging to get started in a career in real estate, because, a lot of people, they come from other successful careers, and knowing a lot of people having a great sphere of influence, and they think, hey, I'm going to talk into people. I was successful in my past career. I'm doing the right things, but man, nothing is clicking. But it really takes a long time to get established in this business, even with mortgage, unless you're going to a bank or an institution that has a good book of business. It takes time, because it's a very competitive marketplace. And again, you and I believe wholeheartedly in the power of video, the power of social media, of having a great web presence. But, there are a lot of people, I look at some of the older agents out there that, still handwrite purchase agreements and barely know how to use the computer, and that even message me when they're trying to get into a property because, they don't know how to use showing time or access things. And, more than anything, relationships are the most important thing, and being likable and providing good service. But again, we believe in having a great presence, but a great presence alone isn't going to win over clients. And so that's kind of been the interesting thing as we're growing and learning, is that, hey, you got to get out and do the work. Like nobody is going to come and just throw anything in your lap. And that's the same in what you're doing, or really any type of sales, or, so many other things in life.
Well, and relationships. I mean, if you get to know someone and their heart and their purpose, I mean, you want to support them. Naturally, you want to support them. And so I think about, brand presence, so important. Getting out their video. There's so many ways that you can build, but you can't have one without the other. You can't really be an experienced real estate agent or mortgage lender, be super experienced and have no presence if you don't have relationships, if you don't have a brand, if you're not online. Yes, you can still get deals and you still have experience, but you could also be really great at video, but have zero experience and not be very good. You really need to learn how to combine them, and one is not necessarily better than the other, but you really cannot be, successful in any sales position without, all of those things. Yes, we used to go back to, relationships and boots on the ground. And now it's like a lot of people are connecting socially. I've connected with some realtors that I've never met in person, or some, mortgage people out of state that have sent me deals we've never met, but they know who I am because of a social presence. So
it's also a credibility piece too, because again, and this kind of ties in, I have an agent who's working with me who's 18, and to be 18 again. Do you remember when you were 18, Kayla?
Yeah, hot mess express.
So I look at it and, it's almost comical, some days because I have to remind myself that, oh, yeah, that's right, you're 18. And like in the case of, I was having him one day, try to basically take a VCR, take a tape and put it in the VCR and, transfer video. And he's like, oh boy, there's only like 30 seconds of video on here. There's nothing on here. I'm like, oh, I bet you don't know how to rewind. And then just the other day, we were getting a property ready to go, and we had to change out a couple light bulbs. It was a big fluorescent bulb. He didn't know what to do. So, things like that. So I forget, but he asked me a very insightful question the other day. Logan did.
Okay.
And he asked me the other day, he said, when you think about your real estate career and you think when, you left funeral service and, made the jump full time, obviously you've done well, you've had a successful real estate career, but how much earlier could you have jumped and still had that success? And it was like, oh, that's a good question. I never thought about it. So going on 6 years, I'm coming up on 40. So I would have been 33, 34. And, I said, it's hard to say. I said at a certain point, and I said, where somebody like you will have difficulties at 18 is you're young. Like a lot of people are going to be maybe a little bit skeptical. Like, I'm not sure if I want to trust you with one of the largest, transactions or financial decisions I have. And I said, equally, there's, a certain point where I maybe wouldn't have had as much success as I was starting. I said, well, maybe 2 or 3 years prior, but equally, Kayla, I think that in life, you're where you're supposed to be at any given time. So I said, I think I was right on time, when I ended up making the jump.
Think about the relationships and credibility you created in funeral service. You know what I mean? Like people are trusting you with that in their life. I mean, real estate seems like a no-brainer, I'm sure. And you're so well connected. But yeah, I mean, you look back and you're like, you think about where you're at and where you're going. And if you do have that mindset of you're where you're supposed to be, it just gives you peace of mind. But I mean, I think too, like, what if I would have decided this sooner? What if I would have changed my business the way I do business sooner? And I was talking to Taryn the other day, and I was talking about another lender that I had kind of helped get him kind of established in the business. And I look at where he's at now, and he's 7 years younger than me. And he has way more at his fingertips and resources and the mindset than I did at that age. And I'm like, gosh, think of if I would have had that. But at the end of the day, it's like you're best positioned to help the person you once were. And, if we can pour into others and help others, everyone has their own path. I mean, if you would have gotten into real estate sooner, maybe you wouldn't have had some of the leads you have because you wouldn't have been in funeral service for as long. And I think about that too. And everything happens for a reason, but.
Oh, and we can't sit here and live life looking in the rear view mirror and, shoulda, woulda, coulda. And the same for clients that are out buying homes or, just about anything in life. Man, what if I would have gotten that house? What if I would have gotten that job? Yeah. Well, you didn't. And, for whatever reason, that's just kind of how life went. Mm-hmm. And so you got to move on and move forward.
Mm-hmm. It's just so easy to get into the what if. And if you weren't doing real estate, what would you be doing?
Oh boy.
Sorry, I didn't know if this is going to turn into a Q&A, but here we are.
Yeah, that's a good question. If I couldn't do real estate tomorrow, like if from this point on I couldn't, good question. I would maybe fly a little bit more, but that's also challenging because then it takes me away from my kids and the like. And although like today I'm sitting actually in Southeast Iowa on a quick trip, but yeah, I'm going to be home by 5 o'clock and we left first thing in the morning. So that's a good day. But I'd maybe fly a little bit more. I would dive more into technology. Honestly, Kayla, I'd go all in on AI and AI consulting. I have so many conversations with people and we're doing so much building tools, building systems in-house because, hey, as we grow, we're having a lot of pain points, especially with all of the work, the administrative stuff that needs to get done. So we're actually building some things using AI. So I would probably do a lot of consulting because as I talk to people and I tell them what we're doing, like a lot of people are just blown away by some of the things that I've created and that we're working on. And I think that there's a big market for someone to go out and like, hey, Kayla, I could have a 45-minute discussion with you, learn about your life. What are your pain points? What systems are you using? At which point I could bring a report back to you and say, hey, Kayla, here are some recommendations for what I think would make your life easier, and not like weeks like this when you've got a ton of new business coming in. Hey, here's some things that I think we could do for you. And if you want to go implement them on your own, you implement it. If you want help implementing it, my team and I would help you with that. That's what I think I would do.
Oh, I like that. I was just talking to a title company rep today, and he was saying how they were talking about AI and how it's literally not even utilized as much as it should be. People are using ChatGPT to ask questions, sure, but there's this other world. So I love that you say that, because I think that that is like the new thing. You know how it used to be like, oh, social media, that's going to be a thing. It is, but AI is truly going to be so powerful. It already is. So I love that answer.
Could you use some AI help, Kayla? Should we carve out 45 minutes for a discovery call?
Andy, yes, I think we should. I'd pay you. You are so much more advanced than I am. And I have like some really great connections that that I have in that world. And just hearing them speak, I'm like blown away. Like, and people are afraid. It's like you don't even know the ability that it has, even to utilize like sending emails or checking your email. And I had one of my, her name's Katie Shive. She's so incredible. Look her up. She was able to pull all my reviews from Google and create a podcast where it sounds like two people speaking about me and their experience that I could put on my website, or, you know what I mean? Like, it just blows my mind, the things you don't even think of.
That's cool, but is that a little disingenuous, or it's just
No,
genuine
Andy,
enough because it's kind of based on real feedback? Or
it's based on real feedback, and it's just two people talking like you and me, like, hey, we just want to talk, and it's a quick, like, if I worked with Kayla, here's what the reviews say. So you could, like, it's a little clip that someone could listen to. But I just think there's a lot of things that it can be utilized for that just make things more efficient. Like, take away the grind. You know, I think about working, you know, all hours of the night some nights, and it's like, what could be implemented? So yeah, Andy, maybe I'll hire you to give me a discovery call. So see what you can
do. We worked on kind of some fun systems. You know, number one, we're big on active lead generation. So for the potential clients that come to us, you know, one of our great selling propositions is, hey, most agents do the 3 Ps. They put a sign in the yard, they put the listing in the MLS, and they pray. They pray someone brings a buyer because they don't have any marketing plan or other. So obviously we're heavy on video and actually running paid ad campaigns on Facebook and Instagram, but we're also big on lead generating in other ways, including when we put a sign out in the yard or out by the lake. Hey, there's a text code. Hey, text this phone number. Yeah. Text this number to this phone number for property information. Well, that gives us their phone number, and then we can follow up. Well, in the past, I had access to a system before I left eXp Realty that would basically add them as a contact, although we'd have to figure out who they were, and there weren't great tools available for that. So that was always a pain point. While I left eXp, I didn't have access to it, and I didn't want to pay $1,200 a year. So a year ago, and Kayla, this just shows how quick technology is changing. A year ago, I find a guy on Fiverr from India, pay him $500, takes him a month to basically write me code that I can attach to this phone number I own so we can keep running it. And there were a lot of little pain points with it, but we ended up getting there. And anyway, long story short, just the other day, I'm like, you know what, we need a better system. So I basically went to my AI agent of choice and I said, hey, log into this, take a look at what they built, replicate it, but I want it to pop into my CRM when we get a new lead. And then and it took about a half an hour to do that. And I already have a better system. The next morning, I'm like, hey, we need to build on this, meaning I need a data source so that when this number comes in, it should ping that data source and figure out who does this phone number likely belong to. It's not always going to be accurate. Give us information about them, email addresses if you can, and let us know, at which point it fires off to all of my agents. And we know in this business, it's all about speed to lead. So whoever can get to them first gets the lead. So just kind of building little things like that, even like in our compliance department, you know, here, usually we sign 50 pages of real estate documents by the time you have disclosures and everything. And it's a manual process to break it up into individual forms. Well, I basically coded a replacement for that where it takes basically 30 seconds to put the property info in. Is it a listing? Is it a sale? Working with a buyer? And then, hey, drop the file in here. AI will divide everything and put it in the right spot. So,
oh my gosh, right? And it doesn't have to be like this wild, crazy thing. It literally can just take away these tasks that you're hitting your head on the wall about. Like but But Andy, you are so much further than so many people I know. And I love that because that's going to take you so much further for not just your team, but your clients. So props to you.
Yeah. No, it's been fun building some of the systems we have, whether it's those or, things that we have that we use to stay in touch with people when we have their house listed, where we can actually pull analytics online and the like. And, we've been working on that for a number of months, and it just keeps getting better, every week.
Gosh, amen. Well, good. I mean, I feel like you could do anything and you would be good at it. So AI, I think I might be reaching out to you.
What would you do, Kayla, if let's say tomorrow they came and they took your license away and said you were a crooked lender and you can't lend anymore? So,
I think there's a difference between what would you do if you weren't doing what you were doing today versus like if you needed a paycheck, what would you do? If you needed to go do something right away, I lean towards consulting with like brand and social media. The brand, heavy on the brand. That's what I would lead towards, whether it's speaking or coaching or masterminds. If I needed to make ends meet, that's what I would pour into. And I like it. And it's just easy for me. So it would be connecting with my sphere on LinkedIn and social and saying, hey, I would probably go speak to loan officers because I get it. I know what it's like. And there are so many people that still don't even have social or use YouTube or have technology. So it'd be definitely probably in that realm. So you'd hire me, right?
I would. There are certain things that, still we could use help with, like, even we migrated websites, we see it still needs a lot of work, for instance. And even, revisiting brand is always good. I did work with some brand consultants that kind of helped us get branded, logo, etc. when I jumped into real estate. And I think that was money well spent. But I mean, there are always ways, that every one of us could, improve so many areas of our life. So yeah, for sure.
I love that.
I'd hire you.
Okay. In another life.
In another life, or maybe with the next business venture. You never know. There are a lot of opportunities out there, and I wish that I was the type that was content sitting in one spot and just doing one thing. But the entrepreneurial spirit runs thick here. So
well, Hannah Montana showed us you can have two different opportunities. You really can. You're Hannah Montana, Andy.
Old Disney Hannah Montana, or hopefully versus not the Miley that we know today.
Yeah, don't get me started. I'll start singing. But I'm just saying, like, I think that's okay. Some people say you should just focus on one, be really strong in one area. I mean, a lot of these things bleed into the other too. I mean, think about flying and real estate. Those really don't, but they do. Like, think of who you get to connect with and what you get to see. And I mean, it's really cool what you're doing. So keep crushing because it sets the bar for the rest of us, Andy.
Well, and that's my goal, Kayla, with, having a team is, I've finally found some individuals that really align with me that I think are really good people. And my goal is to build them up to kind of see where the business goes, because, in the long run, it isn't my goal, to sit day to day. I don't have the capacity to work with absolutely everybody, but people aren't necessarily coming to work with me. They are in a sense, but they want the standard that I exhibit or that you exhibit, when you're when they're coming and making a choice. And so if you can bring individuals on and train them to that standard, that's really what people are after. So I'm excited to see what the future brings. I'll always be involved in real estate, but serving those that are close to me, and then having some highly competent team members of mine serve a variety of the other individuals we attract. But how about you? Where are you headed as you kind of ponder your mortgage career and maybe consulting?
Time will tell. I've had a few speaking opportunities. I don't know if I told you, I'm speaking at Disrupt HR in August in Fargo, so that'll be cool. But I think there's just always going to be opportunities, whether it's to collaborate with companies or if it's to, hey, we see what you're doing. I've had, some people say, hey, we see what you're doing. Can you come speak to our team? I get a lot of, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with this, Andy, hey, can I pick your brain? Can I go for coffee? And there's only so much time in a day, and I would love to do that. But it's like, is there an opportunity to do a quick 15 minutes, pick my brain call? There's not that I need to monetize everything, but when you say no to one thing, you're saying yes to another and vice versa. So I think there's a lot of that. I think until you sit down and talk to us, people just assume. They're like, oh, you might be crushing it. Well, okay, but here's what you have to do to get there. And here are the things that you need to have aligned in the systems and the sequences and the people, because it's so much more than just what you see online. So I don't know, I guess time will tell, but stay tuned. If anything happens, just tune in here. You'll know.
You're the country song, I'm so much cooler online.
I don't know that I know that song.
I think you're more cool in person than you are online, Kayla.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate that. I had someone tell me that I'm better looking in person that I'm really photogenic, basically saying that I look better in pictures. And I was like, cool. Huh. Like a little
interesting.
Like, you're just really photogenic. I'm like, was that you saying that when you meet me? You're like, just saying. Anyway.
I wouldn't take it to heart, Kayla. I think sometimes people trip over their words, and
a little bit. Thanks for making me feel better, Andy.
Well, I think that wraps up episode 107.
107.
Great conversation, Kayla, and I hope you have a great rest of the week.
I will, if you will.
See ya.
Bye.